Keeping up with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Here we are with a remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning, students.
A very warm welcome to the students of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Subject English text, topic lesson number 28, The Elf Singing. Children, today we learn the poem The Elf Singing by William Allingham. Elf means an imaginary small person with pointed ears who has magical powers. Let me read the poem for you. The Elf Singing. An elf sat on a twig. He was not very big. He sang a little song. He did not think it wrong. But he was on a wizard's ground who hated all sweet sound. Elf, elf, take care of yourself. He's coming behind you to seize you and bind you and stifle your song. The wizard, he changes his shape in crawling along an ugly old ape, a poisonous lizard, a spotted spider, a wormy glider. The wizard, he's up on the bough. He'll bite through your gizzard. He's close to you now. The elf went on with his song. It grew more clear and strong. It lifted him into air. He floated singing away with rainbows in his hair. While the wizard worm from his creep made a sudden leap, fell down into a hole, and ere his magic word he could say was eaten up by a mole. Let's understand the first stanza. An elf sat on a twig. Twig means a small thin branch of a tree or bush. He was not very big, means he was quite small. He sang a little song. He did not think it wrong, means he sang a little song not thinking that it was wrong. But he was on a wizard's ground. Wizard means a man who is believed to have magical powers. He was in a place that belonged to a wizard who hated all sweet sound. This wizard hated all sweet sounds. In this stanza, we learn that the imaginary creature with magical powers, that is the elf, sat on a twig, singing a song on the wizard's ground. Now the wizard hated sweet sound. Next stanza. Elf, elf, take care of yourself. He's coming behind you. Here the poet tells the elf to take care of himself because the wizard is coming behind him to seize you and bind you. To seize means to catch hold of you, and bind you means to tie you tightly and stifle your song. Stifle means to stop you from singing. In this stanza, we learn that the poet tells the elf to take care of himself because the wizard was coming behind him to catch him and tie him up and to stop his singing. Let's understand the next stanza. The wizard, he changes his shape in crawling along an ugly old ape, a poisonous lizard. In this stanza, we understand that the poet warns him that the wizard is changing his shape. First, the wizard turns into a crawling, ugly old ape, and then into a poisonous lizard. Next stanza. A spotted spider, a wormy glider. Glider means a creature that flies. The wizard, he's up on the bough. Bough means a large branch of a tree. He'll bite through your gizzard. Gizzard means stomach or intestine. He's close to you now. In this stanza, the poet again warns the elf that the wizard changes his shape to a spotted spider and then a flying worm. The poet tells the elf that the wizard is up on the branch of a tree and is quite close to him now. He'll bite through his stomach. In this stanza, the poet cautions the elf against the wizard who is quick to change his shape to an old ape, to a poisonous lizard, and then to a spotted spider and a wormy glider. Let's read the next stanza. The elf went on with his song. It grew more clear and strong. It lifted him into air. He floated singing away with rainbows in his hair. However, the elf confidently went on singing his song. His song grew clearer and stronger. It lifted him into the air, where he floated, singing away with rainbow in his hair. Next stanza. While the wizard worm from his creep here is the place where he was creeping. Creeping means moving forward slowly. Made a sudden leap. Leap means jump. Fell down into a hole. And his magic word, he could say, means before, was eaten up by a mole. Mole means a small dark furry animal that lives under the ground. In this stanza, we understand that meanwhile the wizard made a sudden leap from the place where he was creeping. He fell into a hole and was eaten up by a mole. We will be meeting soon in the next video, so keep learning something new every day. Thank you.